Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The following documentary is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is not to cause harassment and or cyberbullying. Lenon Honor's big scam, the shockumentary he does not want you to see. On January 18th, 2021, the Speakeasy 2 premiered a video that involved a major bombshell in regards to the Honor family Big Move series from 2016. This short documentary will not only confirm Speakeasy's video, but this will also delve into the build-up to the Honor family Big Move series, the unanswered questions when it comes to the validity of Lenon Honor's claims for why the big move was even happening, and it will also give you, the viewer, a step-by-step process to do your own digging to confirm the following information on your own. On September 14th, 2016, Lenon Honor uploaded the introduction to the big move. The purpose of the big move was to move out of a dangerous and unsafe neighborhood with the help of the public by donating to Lenon Honor. In this particular video, Lenon Honor made a rather interesting statement in regards to whether police were involved when it came to his neighbors. In Lenon Honor's own words, they never came. We will revisit this quote later. On September 17th, 2016, Lenon Honor uploaded a video that involved him and Aida Ajanaku giving details of the neighbors they claim has been causing them trouble that would lead to them wanting to move. In this video, Lenon will talk about drug addicts and alcoholics being a major part of the neighborhood. It's when in this same video, in the description box, the first sighting of the GoFundMe link was posted. We would also see a description of the Honor family's current situation. Let's look at some of the highlights. If we look at the first highlight, we will see the link to the crowdfunding page. We will look at that in a little bit, but let's look at the other stuff. We are a family of 7 plus a puppy. Our oldest child is 12 and our youngest child is 5. Please keep that in mind as I keep moving along here. If we look at the other highlight, we have lived at our current residence for about 7 years, and over the years the neighborhood has deteriorated. Drugs have infested the community, and as a consequence we have been faced with alarming challenges. More recently, our safety and security has been placed in jeopardy, and we are now looking to move as soon as possible. In essence, we are in an emergency situation and we need your help so that we can raise the money needed to move our family to a safe community where we can continue to grow and to continue to provide inspirations to others. As we continue on down the description box, another highlight. Again, this is an emergency situation and we need to move as soon as possible. The total amount that we need to raise in order to move is $8,500. Here's a breakdown of what the funds will be used for. $7,000 to cover the rent deposit, first month, last month, plus 2 additional months rent. During the first 3 months, I will be finding a part-time job as well as completing my current documentary project. $1,000 for moving expenses, U-Haul rental, mileage, gas, etc. $500 incidentals for any unexpected expenses associated with moving. On the GoFundMe page, you will see that Lenon Honor made over $10,000, well above the original goal of over $8,000. In this same GoFundMe page, you can see Lenon Honor is the organizer of this fundraiser, and that this was created on September 16th, 2016. Also keep in mind, this was a GoFundMe that was under accidents and emergencies. You may be wondering why I have a red circle around the dog in the family photo. This will be explained later. As we go to the bottom page, this GoFundMe was created in Hemet, California. It's important for you, the viewer, to keep up with the highlights as it will all come clear later. You may be saying to yourself, gee, they seem to be in a very tough spot and they have to leave ASAP. You may also say to yourself, if you knew about this GoFundMe back then, you most likely would have donated yourself. Before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to go back a little bit before this big move was ever implemented. On August the 2nd, 2016, Lenon Honor uploaded a controversial video called Black Lives Don't Matter to most black people. This video was Lenon Honor ranting and raving about African Americans and how his entitlement to life by trying to validate himself as a man who's breaking all the African American stereotypes. Lenon also talked about him not being subscribed to the idea of race and how he wasn't going to raise his kids to be African American and that his neighborhood got bad once African Americans showed up. He also ranted about his nosy neighbors, and as you can see at the beginning of the video, had Lenon Honor apparently recording African American people and putting subtitles in the video. Lenon is giving the image that he is surrounded by belligerent people. One of the things about this video that was interesting was him telling a story about a Hispanic drug addict that lived next door. There were times when Lenon said the Hispanic drug addict's daughter called the ambulance whenever he overdosed, and he included police were involved. Lenon Honor also said that the police were talking to him about the Hispanic man's history with drugs. However, a month later, Lenon seemed to not get police to come over to his house when he had the noisy neighbors. This is one of the first of many inconsistencies of this alleged bad and unsafe neighborhood. That's not the only thing that was odd about this video in regards to connecting the dots to the big move. Lenon Honor has made claims of objects being thrown in his yard from alcoholics and drug addicts. The GoFundMe said that this neighborhood was not safe, and this move out was a major emergency. However, Lenon is conveniently and comfortably seen making a video outside in his yard for over an hour. Other things to take note. Lenon Honor claimed he has a garden and rocks to meditate on. You also see a toy bus, and you also see the same exact dog from earlier on in the GoFundMe page walking outside with no care in the world. Keep in mind, during this video, Lenon Honor acknowledged this same dog in a yard in a dangerous neighborhood. Perhaps the biggest red flag was seeing Lenon Honor's daughter in the yard. Lenon Honor at one point in time was telling her to go inside, but it was very nonchalant. There was no urgency to get her back in the house in a supposed dangerous and unsafe neighborhood. So the questions had to be asked. Why was a child outside to begin with? Why was no one supervising this child? Why was Lenon Honor not urgent to take her back in? Why was the dog outside? Why would you take care of a garden and meditate on rocks in a dangerous neighborhood where it's so bad that it's full with alcoholics and drug addicts that you need to move out ASAP? Why would you face a camera with your back turned for over an hour in a dangerous neighborhood? These red flags were troubling and very suspicious. So let's dig deeper into what may be going on. If we look at the following vids, after the Black Lives Don't Matter to Most Black People vid, we see a sudden of consistent videos, particularly manhood training videos, and him promoting his crowdfunding of his upcoming documentary. We then would notice the Big Move series began after those particular videos. Let's focus on the following video after the Black Lives Don't Matter to Most Black People. On August 10, 2016, Lenon Honor uploaded Manhood Training with Lenon Honor Part 1. In this video, Lenon Honor stated him and his wife were going to make more YouTube videos to make more income. Lenon Honor claimed his other hustles such as documentaries, consultations, etc. were not enough income to move out. Let's fast forward now to September 22nd, 2016, not even a month into the Big Move series. In episode 6, Lenon Honor and Aida Ajanaku were seen cleaning up their living room. If you look in the background, a door wide open is circled. According to Lenon and Aida, only one of their children were inside the house. Keep in mind, this is an alleged dangerous neighborhood filled with alcoholics and drug addicts. So the question is, where are the rest of the children? If you look at the circle on your left, that is Lenon Honor's head. So him and Aida are in the house. However, look in the upper right. You can see their youngest child is outside, unsupervised. If you watch the video, you will hear kids playing and screaming. If this is such a dangerous neighborhood, where saws are being thrown in your yard, why are these children outside unsupervised and the door is wide open? Is this neighborhood really that dangerous? Keep in mind, the youngest child is 5 and the oldest is 12. You then would see Lenon Honor peeping outside, but it's not to tell his unsupervised kids in a dangerous neighborhood filled with drug addicts, alcoholics, and noisy neighbors who deal drugs and do drugs to come back inside immediately. Instead, Lenon Honor heard one of his kids play yelling and wanted them to keep it down. As Lenon Honor opens the screen door, you will see the dog coming inside. So even the dog is comfortable in a alleged dangerous neighborhood. This is yet again major red flags. Now, there may be some of you who made it this far are probably saying this doesn't prove that the neighborhood isn't dangerous. That's completely fine. So if visual evidence and connecting the dots don't convince you, let's look into some data. According to Truila.com, the neighborhood Lenon Honor was living at in California has the lowest crime relative to Riverdale County. Still not convinced? According to this particular chart, Lenon Honor's section of Hemet, where he resided at, was ranked number 5 in safest neighborhoods. According to this race map, the most common race that is identified is white and Hispanic. This is a huge margin compared to black people in the same area. This chart doesn't support Lenon's claims of black people making the neighborhood worse, since the race pie tells a different story in regards of population. In theory, either whites or Hispanics by this wide margin would be the cause of chaos rather than black people. If we search the area Lenon Honor was living in Google, you will notice an interesting highlight. We will get to that later. The first search result was realtor.com, so we will go into realtor.com. Once I click into realtor.com, you will notice the same exact house Lenon was living in California. If you look to your left side, you will notice two circles. The two circles seem to resemble to Lenon Honor's two oldest sons. As we go further down, we see a property overview. There seems to be two units with the same address. If you read the yellow highlight, it comes across that way. If you look at the red, there is the major death blow in exposing this big scam. We will get more into that later. Let's now look at the property history. Focus on the bottom of the page first. Lenon Honor in 2016 claims he has been living at this residence for 7 years. So let's do some math here. 16 minus 7 is 9. As you've seen in the highlight, the property was listed in 2008 and bought in 2009. Keep in mind, Lenon Honor does not own this property, but he has been renting this property. So Lenon Honor did not buy this property outright. You then would see the major confirmation. This same property was listed on September 27, 2016. Keep in mind, this property was listed during the first few weeks of the big move, and you would notice pics under this statement. This property was then bought in December of the same year. Again, keep in mind, Lenon Honor doesn't own this property, but he is renting. To get better confirmation that is needed as far as the same house, let's look at the pics provided. I highly suggest watching the Big Move series, especially to confirm that the same features in the house match the Realtor.com website. So in conclusion, this was never a case of an emergency move out due to a bad neighborhood or bad neighbors. Lenon's rented house was sold from underneath him, and they were not prepared for it. And because they were not prepared for it, they were in a tough spot. The problem is, why lie to the public? Why not just tell your viewers the truth about the house being sold? Why put black people in a bad light to gain sympathy from your viewers? Why make up a story that depicted black people as a bunch of alcoholics and drug addicts? It's stuff like this why I don't respect Lenon Honor or Aida Ajinaku. Lenon and Aida must address this. However, most likely they won't, because they know they got caught and there's no coming back from it, especially when Lenon Honor, who got exposed as a scammer, is now making a name for himself by bashing another quote-unquote scammer every weekend. What kind of man?